So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. So, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you back to the day 2 of AstroSynergy 2025. Before we begin today's session, let me take a moment to reflect on the incredible journey we shared yesterday. We opened the conference with a truly captivating keynote address from owner Dozer, who took us deep into the world of cosmology and astrology in the Sufis tradition. His talk not only expanded our historical understanding, but also offered a beautiful perspective on the spiritual roots of astrological thought. So it was an inspiring start to the conference. One of the heartfelt moments of day one was our inaugural award ceremony, a new tradition we have launched this year to honor the exceptional contributor to the world of astrology. So we were privileged to present the Lifetime Achievement Award to the esteemed Anthony Lewis for his outstanding service to the astrological community. The award was graciously presented by none other than Sharon Knight, herself a leading light in the field of astrology. Our heartfelt thanks to both Sharon and Anthony for that very special moment yesterday. We then moved to the thought-provoking panel discussion on bridging the Eastern and Western astrology. I must thank Aswin Subramanyan for curating such a well-balanced and diverse panel yesterday, featuring astrologers across the traditions, like Indian origin practicing the Western astrology and the Western astrologers deeply engaged in the Vedic system. Panelists Jolly Knott, Tanya Daniels, Gary O'Toole, and Ramya Krishnamurthy brought a rich perspectives and shared a common vision that the future of astrology is not East or the West, but it is integrative, global, and evolving. We ended the day with a wonderful, insightful session by Vanita Lenka on the timing of life events in astrology. She also explored the timing techniques and even analyzed live charts, turning the session into highly interactive learning experience. So thank you, Vanita, for depth and generosity. Today, we continue the momentum with another stellar lineup of speakers and sessions. I hope everyone is excited as I am to dive into the next phase of our exploration. With that, I am delighted to declare the day 2 of AstroSynergy officially open. Let the synergy continue. I'll hand over to Aswin to introduce our speaker, Dhilip Kumar today.
Thank you so much. I think that was a very nice summary, and it's almost a privilege, as it was yesterday, even today, for me to kind of introduce Mr. Dhilip Kumar, who comes from our own soil. And truth be said, no one who starts astrology in Tamil Nadu can move past without watching his YouTube channel and knowing his work. So it is a wonderful privilege to have him here. And Dr. Dhilip Kumar, an accomplished astrologer with over 30 years of experience, embarked on his astrological journey during his tenure at NIIT in 1985. Encountering an astrological software, he input his birth details and was astounded by the mathematical logic embedded in astrology. This revelation transformed his perspective, leading him to dive into the world of astrology. Dhilip Kumar's influence extended globally as he provided astrological consultations and delivered lectures in Germany, Holland, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong, and Sri Lanka. A visionary, he crafted the groundbreaking Deepa Astro Diary and Deepa Astro Calendar. Since 1999, he has consistently produced the world's sole Vedic astrology diary, renowned for its comprehensiveness and user-friendliness, making it an excellent corporate New Year offering. His commitment to community service is exemplified by his active engagement as a Rotarian since 2002. He joined the esteemed Rotary Club of Chennai, where his dedication led him to ascend to the position of club president during Rotary year 2009-10. Notably, he demonstrated his unwavering support by becoming a major donor to the Rotary Foundation in the same year, showcasing his dedication to the organization's humanitarian endeavors. On January 11, 2025, E.K. Dhilip Kumar was honored with doctorate in astrology by Southwestern American University. This prestigious recognition acknowledges his profound contributions to the field of astrology, his decades of dedicated research, and his commitment to advancing astrological knowledge globally. And today his topic will be how to wade through the paradoxes in astrology. So with that, I thank you, sir, once again for joining today, and it is amazing to have you, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, Aswin, Subramanyan, and Muthu for having invited me. The topic was chosen by me, but I'm sure none of the people here need to listen to what I'm going to say because you already know about the paradoxes in astrology. Most probably, I think I'm only addressing to those who are not well trained in astrology. Okay, so this, what I'm going to talk to you about, might be, you're already familiar with these things. And more importantly, I should thank Muthu Vijayan for his extraordinary, I should say, energy, maybe cosmic energy, that he's not letting things go, right? He wants to be the, to do the best in astrology, and he always works very hard on bringing people together. And this is what we expect from a community of astrologers, that this can only grow with friendship and maybe combined research. And I'm sure we are all heading towards making astrology like regular science. People can, maybe they start believing in astrology. Otherwise, astrology is always, people sometimes are very doubtful about what's going on. They go back and forth. Sometimes they consult and then say astrology is great. Sometimes they come back and say, we didn't get what we wanted from astrology. Okay. So thanking the organizers one more time. May I start?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir, please.
So I have just one slide to show in the beginning. Am I permitted to share the screen?
Yeah, please.
Please.
Okay. Just screen mirroring from my iPad. If it doesn't come, I'll, yeah, it's come. Whenever I show this slide, people always, take some time to, unless they've seen it already and, dwelled upon it. It's not, sometimes my own students, they don't understand what's going on in this. But this is one line that captivated me long time back. Especially after, in those days, I used to read, regularly. I was in touch with KP Astrology, and Professor K.S. Krishnamurthy did say, I'm scared of Sagittarius ascendant. Whenever they come for consultation, I refuse to do the consultation. And yes, I thought that was an exaggeration. But over the years, I found out Sagittarians are very difficult to handle. But that also simultaneously proves astrology. Does it not? Here, Arthur C. Clarke says, I don't believe in astrology. I'm a Sagittarius, and we are skeptical. Okay. With that, I would love to, I would stop sharing. 1 minute.
Sir, I am a Sagittarius ascendant, sir. And I am a believer in astrology. But not
now
predictions.
Now, if you look at it, it's only saying skeptical. Okay. So be very careful with that. And the point with this particular Lagna is that
yes, sir.
When they're skeptical, they're actually, can't you understand from the statement? He's basically a believer.
Yes, sir. Believer, yes, sir. Like
he's a believer because he's saying, I'm a Sagittarius.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
So that is the point. I'm a Sagittarius and we are skeptical. He's proving astrology. And also, so whenever I met these people, the way they'll start in a consultation, they'll say, I really don't believe, I don't believe in astrology, but sometimes I believe. They'll go back and forth.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the point I wanted to say.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Sir, and have you heard of Dr. Percy Seymour, sir, British astrophysicist and astronomer? Like he has authored 2 books on astrology, explaining how astrology could work, sir. Like in scientific terms, it's
Okay.
very, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just going to, I mean, maybe just make you more curious about astrology and its possible role in modern life, because we are living in a very different kind of world where it is not like in those days we had nothing else to do. We
Yes, sir.
looked up at the sky and we didn't know what to do with those stars
Yes,
and
sir.
planets, and then you possibly went to an astrologer because there are few things to do in life.
Yes, sir.
But now we have lots of things, so even
Nowadays.
yeah, even in the time like this, in times where it is so advanced, astrology, on the search engine, they've said it is the 6th most often used search word.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the curiosity is always there.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
because human beings are curious about future,
Yes,
and
sir.
who will not be curious about future? And this is something very specific about the human birth. I don't think animals are worried about their future.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they are not worried.
Sorry to interrupt. I think your screen sharing was not visible.
Was it?
Yeah, if you intended to share, I think it was not shared.
Oh, I see. But it showed on my.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was any technical challenge, but we couldn't see it.
I see. Let me see. Wait a minute. I'll have another way to share. I will. Okay. So you missed the fun. Okay. One of the just one minute. Huh? Okay.
Okay,
I'll try another method.
no problem.
Hmm. Hopefully this should work. At least this should work, I think. Now.
Yeah, now it is visible.
Yes,
We
yeah.
can see the screen.
So this is one of a slide that I've showed many times to people who doubt astrology, and it's a joke also, right? When people say after saying does astrology work, and then immediately they'll ask me a question on astrology. Oh, I'm born in this moon with my moon sign is this. What do you think? So it's always they're more interested. Is it okay now since I've shown the.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give you a classical example from my consultation. So just to start off with a joke, because we can always relax with a joke. I was consulting for a person. I'm using these words just to tell you the background. I don't demean anyone. This person comes not from the city. Okay, so it doesn't mean I'm going to demean them. But during the consultation, I told him by just pointing out at the book, he seemed to be, he looked like he didn't know English. He only was speaking in Tamil, and possibly he never went to school. So I told him, in this book, the Maharishi, that is Maharishi Parashara, I only use Brihat Parashara Horashastra all the time, and a little bit of Brigasutram for planetary positions. And so I told him, in this particular time, the Maharishi says you are supposed to do a Mahamrityunjaya Homa, a Havan, and also followed by a black cow donation. As soon as he heard this, he said, "Can you read further in the notebook and tell me whether I will do it or not?" His question may, sound so funny, but his question was actually genuine. But it took me some time to understand what he was saying. Okay. He said, does it also say I will do it or not? When I told him, he's asking you to do it. He's suggesting that you do it. Sir, you're not able to understand. He says that this is good, but does he say that whether I'll do it or not? Again, he repeated. I repeated 5 times and he repeated 5 times and I gave up. The philosophy of fate is so much, ingrained in maybe the Indian psychology that everything is pre-written. That to do remedy itself is pre-written. And then I didn't know what to do. I skipped the topic and went on with the rest of the reading. But he was not actually satisfied. Because in Nadi centers, they will say these kind of things. It's there in the leaf. But in the Nadi centers, before you get married, they're never going to tell you your spouse's name. But somehow after the marriage, if you go to one more Nadi center, they will tell you the name of the spouse. So you begin to wonder what really is happening there. If it is a leaf that contains all the information, should it not contain that? Okay. So this concept of it is written already, what you would do. And sometimes given the same inputs, astrologers can conclude in maybe completely opposite way, as in the story of, the astrologer's wife drawing water from the well and the rope snaps. And it's at that time a lady from outside comes and says, will my husband return? And so Varamira asked the students, what is your answer? And then the student said, the rope snapped. And that means the sacred thread of marriage is snapped. So the man is dead. He will not come back. But Varamira said, he's going to come back very quickly. So we have these kind of situations in astrology that given the same parameters, inputs, we could tell different things. But what actually prevailed was that the husband did come back. I had the experience of a not so popular astrologer coming into my room long time back in the year 1993, when I was wondering whether I should become a professional astrologer. But I had all the setup ready. So he walked in and said, can you show me your horoscope? I showed his horoscope. He looked at it and said, next year you will be in a foreign country. Thank you. Bye. And he went off. Before he went off, I said, I have no interest in foreign countries. I'm not going anywhere. And he said, you will go. He came along with a friend and they were seemingly in a hurry. So they just left. And next year I found myself in Maharishi Mageshwari's ashram in Netherlands, having zero interest. Okay. It just happened one event led to another. And finally I landed up there. It is there I spoke to Michael Jackson 3 times over the phone. Now, I was wondering, how did he get it so quickly? Is it just a guesswork? No, but he had logics. You can easily guess what Dasha and Antardasha I might have been going during that 1994. Maybe something to do with foreign planet Rahu, the outsider. So I was going through Rahu Ketu. He saw Rahu Ketu on my 1/7 axis and didn't do any other, he didn't study anything else. He just used that answer. But what was surprising was that when I told him I had no interest, then also it's happening. So when it comes to astrology, where you can also say no to astrologers, say the same thing, but given the same parameter, sometimes at least the majority of people here in this conference can also say the same thing again and again, which means it is repeatable also. And that's a complaint for astrology, against astrology, that it does not seem to be repeatable. In fact, I say the opposite. It is the most repeatable science in this world because we are repeating it for thousands of years. We are saying the same thing again and again. Whenever you see the seventh lord in the sixth house with seventh and sixth, any connection, we know marriage is most probably in trouble. And we've been saying that for years, for centuries, and every time it works. Now, how do you know whether all this is true? It's only from experience. So after a very long time, I went, I wanted to participate in a chess tournament held at IIT Chennai. So I always had the dream of going to that IIT, college, but university, but I didn't have sufficient marks. So I thought at least using chess, I will get into the campus. At least fulfill my dream. Aswin is laughing because whenever I travel by that side, I'll stare at the IIT campus. Will I ever get in there? Maybe next birth. So when astrology came, I went there. On the first day, somebody found me that I was an astrologer, and he interviewed me and immediately uploaded it on YouTube. I spoke about the links between astrology and chess. And so between two rounds, we always have a gap, like about some time before we go on to the next round. At that time, a chess player, a very popular chess player, came up to me and told me that everything is nice about me, sir, but my marriage is in a mess. And I quickly said, maybe your seventh house lord must be in the sixth. Now tell me, is it luck that got this right? And he said, yes, I have my seventh house lord in the sixth. Then he went on to say marriage was very horrible. I was taken to the police station. I've also been in custody. Then I added, maybe the seventh lord is the sixth along with Rahu. The moment I said that, he fell straight on my feet. You're overwhelmed by these things. Suddenly these things can happen. He's most probably the tournament winner. He's a grandmaster. Everybody knows who he is. Nobody knows me from the chess world because I'm playing chess after 25 years. Now, he told me, how is it possible without date of birth, time of birth, place of birth? How do you even think about these things? I said, I don't know, but this is just repeatable science. Every time it can happen. But where is the paradox is that given the same situation, some people can argue, no, it's okay. Maybe the seventh house lord in the sixth might only mean, health problems to the spouse, because seventh is spouse and sixth is health problem. Maybe sickly spouse, as Maharishi Parashara says. So you can give different statements. So I've been always very much interested in proving astrology this way on the street, on the road, whenever I meet people. I'll just look at somebody for a long time and they'll say, why are you staring at me like this? Then I'll say, wait a minute. And then I'll ask them, is this your nakshatra? And they'll say, yes. But tell you the truth, I can't get it all right all the time. Okay, I won't get it right. Meaning I won't even try. If I can't find out, I won't even ask him. But wherever I asked, maybe 95% of the time I got it right. And so immediately the person next to him will ask, sir, in Tamil, sir, please tell my star. I'll say, sorry, I can't tell it. No, why is it that you did it only for him and not for me? Okay, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But when it works so accurately. So that is the point in astrology. So also you look at statements like Maraka period. Parashara says there is a possibility of death. And sometimes I'd use common sense and told them nothing to worry. And I miserably failed because afterwards the death did happen. So I used to, tell myself, next time you don't do this. Whenever it is there, you always say there is a danger to your life. Why don't you do Mahamrityunjaya Homa? In that incident, which I'm thinking in my mind, this person was so spiritually connected to a big person in the spiritual world. So I thought that guru will protect him. And therefore death is not going to happen. So I didn't actually tell about the period. After the death happened, somebody connected to the man who passed away, he came and asked, did his horoscope show it? I said, yes. Then why didn't you tell him? You should have given him some remedies. So now the question is, if Parashara says there is the possibility of death, and sometimes even if that statement is there, one of my gurus taught me that it will be death-like suffering, not necessarily death. So much suffering that one wishes it's better to die. Okay, so this is also the gray area in astrology. But the paradox here is, if the remedy is done, nothing happens to the person, then the first statement is wrong. Because if you said that there is death and death-like suffering, and that's not happening, just because you have done the remedy, then the first statement goes wrong. It's almost like the liar's paradox. The liar's paradox, it is, I am lying. Okay, if I make a statement like that, I am lying. Then can you say I'm lying or not? Anyone wants to try?
It's not necessarily a lie. It's just what we see from the chart. But
No. If I'm telling you a statement, it's not astrology at all. I'm saying I am lying. This is called the liar's paradox.
Right.
I am lying. What does it actually mean? It's like that. Because if I say I am lying, that statement itself is I am lying. Therefore, I might be telling the truth. So the paradox is that when Maharishi says there is the possibility of death, but if you do this, there is no possibility for death. Okay. So, for example, if the 5th house lord is in the 6th house, he says adopt a child. Is that a prediction or a suggestion? 5th lord in the 6th house, adopt a child. He will adopt a child, the native will adopt a child. Now, use common sense. The 5th lord can only be in 12 houses, and 1/12 of the world's population will have 5th lord in the 6th. 100% you will by now know that there is no way all these people will, adopt a child. Actually, it is a suggestion. So most of the Sanskrit lines that you see, wherever applicable, I'm not saying most, wherever applicable, could be a suggestion and not a prediction. It's like saying something bad was done in your past life, and it is so much that you would get into trouble with children. I know the maximum, in percentage, autistic children were born to those who have the 5th lord in the 6th house. Okay? I should tell them you should have adopted a child instead, because the Maharishi has recommended it. So whenever something is, some statement you find, for example, Saturn in the 9th house, the Maharishi says that you will be involved in temple reconstruction, or maybe bathing places, or he says Goshala, cow shelter. I don't think this is a prediction, because maybe 75% of the people in the world will never do it. So it's a suggestion because something against the 9th house was done. So the 9th house is connected here in this remedy, as in the case of 5th lord in the 6th, that 6th is the house of sin. So maybe something to do with the past life sin. And if you do, if you look at this carefully, for childless couples, at least one of them will have the 5th lord in 6 or 12. Most probably not in the 8th. It will always be more in 6 and 12. But sometimes you see, for example, in one consultation, I spoke about 5th lord in the 12th. And the person is actually famous in an allied line to astrology. He is also having his own set of, name and fame in this world, all over the world, in fact. And when I told him you got your 5th lord in the 12th, that you have a serious putra dosha. He laughed because he said, I have 3 sons. In Tamil Nadu, if you have sons, you are like gods. Right? So he started laughing. And he calls me Dhilip sir. Dhilip sir, what is this? I have 3 sons, sir. Okay. So first of all, I'm not making the statement. Maharishi Parashara said something about it. Okay. So it's not my responsibility anyway. So I just told him it's there in the book. And every time he came for consultation, I repeated it. And I told him, you just have to adopt a child. You can't adopt a child because you already have 3 children. So at least you should go to the orphanage and start taking care of other people's children. So maybe you can settle the score from your past life, the debts. He again and again said, sir, just drop this. I'm not interested in listening to this. But, people like us can't keep quiet. Every time he came, I repeated the same thing. Then on one fine day when he was outside the country, when he was in some other place for his consultations, he had gone. His second son, due to a small incident in school, that night he commits suicide. Okay. Then I told him, please do something about this. Even now it's not too late. You better do some orphanage work. He said, already one son has gone. That is enough. Karma has got, has punished me. There's no need to do anything from here on. So I don't want to bore you with what happened next. Okay. You can start guessing. So it is always better to read some of the lines at least as maybe suggestions or as possibilities, and you need to align with it. For example, an often quoted point in my, whenever I read chart, I always tell people, Saturn in the second house is bad for wealth, poverty, daridra. But surprisingly, I found people who are very rich. Saturn the second. But you know what? If you look further deeper, you will find that the wealth destroyed them. It's the wealth that killed them. So it means if you're having Saturn the second, please don't go after wealth. That's all. You better stick to the plan. It's his poverty, and you're saying, I want to become richer and richer. And then you get arrested for a disproportionate asset case and go to jail. You see that? So maybe I always thought this was not prediction, but how people have made it out to be is it's always prediction. But prediction is, if you use the logic of prediction, it's not true, because if you just check in the world, even you must be having many clients who have 5th lord in the 6th. Most probably none of them adopted a child. But you ask them, they'll say children are the most, where the most of their concern is in their lives. So sometimes you see some contradictory statements in astrology. Like for example, sun in the first house, it says, opening line, it says Arogyavan, very healthy. And then Kama, Pitta problems. Okay, and then eye problem, Netra Rogi. Now you don't know which one to take. But what it means is that based on the nature of that sun in the first house, you will have to cleverly, keep changing the angle of viewing it. If sun is in, let's say, its arch rivals Saturn's sign, maybe in Capricorn or maybe in Aquarius, then you can say maybe you have serious eye problem. What about health? More or less you will be above average in health. If there is Pitta, that itself will keep out things, keep out the bacteria. They can't survive. Okay, so like this, we can actually wade through this paradoxes in astrology by asking some more questions about the planet. So usually I tell people, do what is called stack up. How many more faults can you find with the sun? Let's say if the sun is in Mesha Lagna, it is exalted. Exalted means very happy. Or what about Swakshetra, own house? Then maybe all of these positive things stated in sun in the first will happen, and maybe the eye problem also might be there. But somewhere down the line, he will have the eye problem, but maybe doctors can help him come out of the eye problems. If the son is afflicted, then maybe even doctors can't help. Okay, it can happen like that. Do we have to look into the chat and respond accordingly?
No, if something comes up as a question in the chat, I will.
You will alert me. Okay.
Yeah. For now, Jolly says a very interesting thing. She says prediction versus prophecy. Prediction makes us passive, whereas prophecy is tonic and asks us to co-create our reality. Which is very interesting. So,
Ask us to co-create our reality. Oh, that's very complex.
yeah. So,
For example,
somebody said in a statistical astrological model is more accurate than the statistical model. You know what? A lot of predictions are done via using statistical model, right?
Yeah.
And that need lot of data. A lot of big professors and all those. As compared to the astrological model, actually are better than I believe than statistical model. Sometime, and both are predictive models. They are not definitive models, right?
yeah. So coming to the predictions also, there is a range in this, like how much fate and how much free will one has. Okay. So you have, for example, if you see a peculiar, the chart itself is peculiar. Something is revealed so many times in the same way. Like, for example, 4 planet conjunctions. They have more karma in them. Those people have more karma in them. And that means most of the predictions will turn out correct. In some horoscopes, it will not be so strong. So it will be like 50-50. And these are the times when astrologers will not get the predictions right. So it's not, the level of prediction possibility is not the same across. It will vary from person to person. For example, in extraordinarily big people, horoscope will work very well. Meaning, from our point of view, in terms of predictions. Whereas if the person is ordinary and has nothing big to achieve, then maybe you will always, not get, the good results from astrology. This statement from Varamira might surprise you. He said, do not waste your time reading the horoscopes of ordinary people. Just read the horoscopes of kings and big time people, because they have more fate in them, and their fate is so much connected to the people in the in their kingdom. Okay, so he said that. So if you look at events in the life of Jesus Christ, you will notice that several times predictions were made and it was so perfect. And same thing with Mahavir Jain and Gautama Buddha, Prince Siddharth, that he will either become a great king or he will become a great sannyasi. Those predictions were made very early. And Mahavir Jain made about 350 predictions. They all came out exactly true. So no changes at all. Okay. So I'm just trying to say that if you're looking for uniformity across horoscopes, I don't think that's possible. Whereas if you see people who have great effects on other people in terms of maybe Janapriya, a large fan following, their horoscopes, whatever is written in the horoscope, everything seems to fit. It'll be so perfect that even effort and free will seems to fail. It'll go according to the script. Okay, that's what I want to say. And sometimes you will see certain predictions, may never become true. I'm just on the lighter side. I want to tell you, if Mercury is in the 8th, Sage Bhrigu says that there will be 7 children. Okay, now again we know this is 1/3 of the world's population can be in the 8th. So what I want to say is that in an environment where these are all possible, maybe the person will have extraordinary number of children. Okay, more number of children. So we need to take it with a pinch of salt instead of worrying about, astrology is not working because the Maharishi said 7 children and this guy has got only 3 children. And sometimes it leads to problem in the family. The wife, if she comes to know about it, she'll ask, where are the other children? Okay. So, um, and, and, uh, and there are several other things in astrology where, the different systems are there. And we are not united in this, that we have several different ayanamshas. We have different, like for example, I started using the Bava chart from 1989. But when I turned professional from 1995, first 10 years, I had so much customer complaint. After the reading, they'll come back to me and say, you got it all wrong because this plant is not in this house. And I'll tell them it is in the Bava chart, it is in the eighth house. That's why I use that. And incidentally, whatever the Bava chart revealed was actually what is happening in the person's life. So I got the prediction right, but they were worried about the fact that in the Rashi chart, it is not in the same position. Okay. So even if the Bava chart is not actually drawn, if you know how the Navamsha charts are made, comparing Rashi and Navamsha, you can create the Bava chart in the mind. You can practice that. Okay. So even if it is not given, but now you know all the softwares give, as a rule, they always give you the Bava chart. And the advantages of Bava chart is that you can, in the settings, you can go and change it to centered around which point, Lagna centered, or you want to center it around the Dashanath. Because the Maharshi frequently in Dasha Adhyaya keeps asking, is it in the 6, 8, and 12 from Dashanath? So if you fail to use these logics, you might get it wrong. You might think it is in the 8th from Dashanath, but if you don't know the angles properly, you might get it wrong. So these are the problems in astrology. So much of knowledge is there. The other day my son asked, so much of text is available in astrology. How could it be a lie? Maybe there is, we need to, there's no contradictions at all. Maybe we need to, have conferences like this and then try to do something about, publishing statistical evidence for something. Now, we are all working on, now with AI available, I think it should be easy to do some models. Okay. When it comes to Bava chart, KP, Professor K.S. Krishnamurti used the Placidus system, but I somehow didn't like that. So that's another contradiction or a paradox. So there are lots of things like this. I use the equal system, simple. I'll give you a proof for the equal system. Just for example, if the sun is in Bhrigu Sutram, if sun is in the 5th house, the father will face severe problems, death-like or great problems when the native is 7 years old. This is an example of Bhava Madhya sun, Mithuna Lagna, sun debilitated in the 5th. So I just didn't want to say danger to your father. I just said something bad must have happened to my father. Immediately the client told me my father passed away in the same year. So if you use the Bhava Madhya concepts, you might get sometimes more accurate, readings. Suppose you ask again the same question. If sun is in the 5th house, does it happen to everyone that the father passes away? But here, there's already a point that Sage Bhrigu himself said, not exactly only death, but great misfortune. Okay, so, it's something, some pressure. Now think about it. No dasha, no antardasha was used here. Just because a planet is in a particular house, an age-based prediction is being given. Do we believe this? So it's very difficult. If Jupiter is in Lagna, Sage Bhrigu says at the age of 16, for that, there are a lot of conditions apply. The person will hit the peak. I met a person who had Jupiter in Lagna, unafflicted. He became a gold medalist at the age of 16. So it's happening. And sometimes it's not happening. When it's not happening, you need to look into the, the whatever the conditions. For example, if Jupiter is in Lagna and then it is in Swakshetra, Sage Bhrigu says a lot about it. What a Jupiter that is. And then he says, if it is in exaltation, he says, wow, and says Maharaja Yoga. Okay, big one. You already know it's Panchamahapurusha Yoga, Hansi Yoga. But the next line itself, he says, if it is afflicted, turn the coin, reverse. He'll be the worst guy. It's hard to believe that. He'll be just the opposite of whatever he said in the first paragraph. But our mind will not accept it. No. How is it? Anyway, Jupiter is in Lagna only. Just by affliction can we change. So sometimes our minds do not accept these things. You just can't digest it. What a Jupiter it is in Lagna in Cancer. And just because Rahu is along with it, you want to change the entire prediction? So these are the, doubts. We don't know what to do with these things. So sometimes it gets, personal, like the way you think. The astrologer has a mindset. Even that will influence the reading. Is my time over?
No, you still have half an hour.
Okay. Oh, is it? So we have in some charts, you seem to get some clues about something, but you don't get everything in the D1 chart or even the Bhava chart. But if you go to the specific divisional chart, only then you get everything clear. So just think about all the predictions given long time back. Let's say in the times of B.V. Raman, sir. I grew up in astrology only because of him, because he published my articles and I was writing the monthly predictions for his magazine. I'm so grateful to him. But I'll still say that, did he even use divisional charts? Right? Ashwin should correct me if I'm wrong.
Dr. Raman used divisional charts, that's for sure.
Okay, but not in the publications.
Oh, I'm not sure about publications, but he used divisional charts and also advocated aspects in divisions. So
Okay.
That is something that Dr. Raman was.
So in how to judge a horoscope and all this other work, he never used the divisional charts.
Right.
But of course, being a superior astrologer, he must have known everything, but he didn't use it. And let's say in India, the chances of using divisional charts was very low, because first of all, time of birth was not known accurately. Everything was generalized. They'll always say when the cows went for grazing, when the cows came back, the child was born, like that. So what is the point of doing a divisional chart when it is so time sensitive? The higher divisions reveal much more in detail, like Sashtiyamsa. But it's not possible. Even now, in spite of modern, facilities, I tell people I'm not ready to use the Sashtiyamsa chart, because I'll go wrong. Okay, unless they come for a birth time rectification, we keep asking lots of questions, and then finally you do something with it, and then maybe this Navamsha Lagna is correct. That's enough. Or Saptamsha Lagna is correct. In one chart, I was surprised. There was not a single fifth house dosha in the main chart, and also in the Bhava chart. In the Saptamsa chart, you had all of it at one shot. Extraordinarily afflicted chart. Childless for 15 years. If you fail to use the Saptamsa, you'll definitely give wrong predictions. Okay, so it is just, according to me, a stack up. Because if you go back to the mainline methods like Bhava Lords in different houses, you're only using the D1 chart and the Bhava chart. Right? And you want to make predictions out of that. So I feel that if you can get more and more, something to stack up on the same thing. So I wrote my own software in GW Basic long time back. I wrote it between 1987 and 1995. Okay, after that I stopped editing the software. I mean, it is outdated also. GW Basic, you all know it's outdated. But my own software will give me, when it comes to the children page, it will tell me the plus and minus of children. And surprisingly, this is what I encourage all of you to do, something like that. If I see 16 negative points and 3 or 4 positive points, without even worrying about it, I'll say you are childless. And they'll say yes. But if it is 50-50, I'll stop telling anything about it. Because I won't be sure. So only if you see something like, it is stacked up on one side so many times, over and over again, then you can trust it. Otherwise, it will be 50-50. Also, you need to know the background of a person. For example, Maharishi says if the 10th Lord is in the 9th, it's a very interesting thing. You all know Kendra Trikona, highest Kendra, highest Trikona, 10th Lord and 10th house Lord is in the 9th house. One born in a royal family will become the king. Maybe he is the one who will be chosen as the king. But if not born to a king, he'll be equal to a king, which means maybe in local language, he'll become an MLA or maybe a councillor. So how do you make a prediction without knowing the background? So always this background thing is an issue. You can't just read a chart without knowing the background, unless we are maybe having so much psychic energy in us that, you don't need the background at all. But if you have the background, it works easy. So if you find, for example, I had used once a prediction for a local, is now an MP. He came to me long time back and he said, politics is, in local language, it's sewage. In Tamil, he said, sakadai. My dad is the number 2 or 3 politician in Tamil Nadu. He's just a horrible man. And then he told me that I will never follow in his footsteps. But I found so many things in his horoscope that showed that he will follow his father. So how many ever times he said, I will not follow, I said, you will follow. And then he said, can I do some other business? I don't want to live in the shadow of my father. Typical, Then now he is completely in a different situation. He's a member of parliament. Lots of things going on around him. Okay, the same complaint he had made against politics that it is a sewage. He's right now in that. Okay. So this is the power of astrology. So definitely, in spite of all these paradoxes, and you may say, come on, how many people will have 10th Lord in the 9th? Okay, 10th Lord has to be in one of the 12 houses. And 9th, does it happen all the time? I think whatever may be the beginning of this person, if somebody has the 10th Lord in the 9th, and again, you have to think about afflictions, further afflictions, or some more extra qualifications for that planet. Maybe it is exalted or it's in Mula Trikona. Maybe in Shadbala it is very strong. Maybe in Vimshopaka Bala it's very strong. If you can pile up some extra points on it, definitely it will work. Okay, so whatever he has said. And the next important thing on the paradox side is that when a reading is given by an astrologer, will the astrologer change that person's karma? You're altering something, right? You're giving him information. Will that information be used to change karma? And so the actual script gets changed. And because of that, the prediction itself will not work. Is there a possibility for that? Or you think whatever the astrologer tries, there's no difference at all? It's very difficult. This question is very difficult. So Tanya says, good question. If the astrologer has no role to play, then what exactly is the role of an astrologer? So the best way to think about it is actually, maybe it's first of all a script already prepared, but then you're allowed to alter the script. Does that not happen? Or you want to say no alteration? Think about it. First marriage fails, the second marriage succeeds. Why? The person has the same horoscope? The same horoscope? The same, whatever led to the first marriage failure, again, it should do the same thing again. So now we have statements like what Ram says, general belief is that the guy is destined to hear prompts, and if not either, he will. So here again, finally, it will be that he's influenced by the astrologer, right? But we'll have to take it like the astrologer can change, because when Maharishi says, do these things to change your life. So I used to always in my class tell people that your horoscope is just like a mark sheet obtained for the previous life. And if you don't do anything about it, whatever is there in the mark sheet will apply. But if you work on it, it will start changing. Otherwise, how will you bring in God, faith in God, the blessings of God, if you say everything is over, already done? What's the point of effort? So these are, at least for me, this is one of the biggest paradox in astrology. So I started off by telling you in the beginning that somebody is telling me, will I do the remedy or not? Tell me. Every time, you also must have gone through these experiences if you are a professional astrologer. The client comes and tells you, it's only now my fate has led me to meet you. Right? It must have happened to all of you. It's true in a particular way. Everything about astrology is true, but you will have to take it like there is the overall past life which is clinging on to you, and then it is expected to give certain results, but you can start modifying on those things by listening in a consultation. A good astrologer who knows how to read the problems will let you know it's better, you do this or you don't do those things. For example, whenever I see people having the 11th Lord in the 6th, I always tell them, better go abroad, Paradeshi, the Parashara said. Because if you don't do that, the 11th and the 6th will get connected in a different way. The 6th is, loans, disease. All the negative things in our lives are all in the 6th house. So 11th Lord in the 6th might give you trouble in homeland. And it gives so much trouble in homeland, then the person wants to go abroad and try his luck. Why delay the trip? Why don't you go? But if you think this is a prediction and not a suggestion, again, the same thing I'll repeat. You check in this, check in India. How many people are still in India having the 11th Lord in the 6th? I'm not talking about the trips that people make, because you can make a trip without astrology. No need for any karma, because all you need is a visa and a ticket, and that's it. You can go anywhere. So please don't consider those things are part of fate. I'm talking about you settle abroad and then you change your life itself. You are now no more connected to India. So this is another way of looking at it. So I tell people, and I've done this several times. I know of a man who told me he got a lot of offers in foreign country, but he never made it. I asked him why. He said, first my sister had to get married. I was waiting for that, then got married. Then my mother fell sick. Then like this one reason. Now nobody is there. He's retired. I told him, even now you can go abroad. It will change your life. In the next 3 years, he told me, I made money which I didn't make in my entire lifetime. Because it's always only a potential. If you go according to your script, wherever it is positive, then you will be in an advantage. If you don't do it automatically. Okay.
There is a question in the chat. Like Ram is asking if you can elaborate on Viparit Raja Yoga and what and when exactly things happen.
See, I'll tell you one thing about Viparita Rajas. Always take it with a pinch of salt. Okay? Always. Because if you say Viparita Raja Yoga is a Dusthana, a Lord going to a Dusthana, they're not, all of them are not Viparita Raja Yogas. Okay? So, I mean, you have to be very careful with this. If you're talking only about Harsha Yoga and Sarala Yoga and Vimala Yoga, which is sixth Lord in the sixth, and there is some truth in it. But at the same time, it will come at a cost. There'll be a lot of problems. For example, if eighth Lord is in the sixth house, there will be victory over enemies. But you know what? The same Maharishi says, you'll be diseased. There'll be a lot of problems. You'll be wounded. Obviously, because of this, when you work with the enemies, then there is a possibility of wounding also. So the opposites also will hold good. So if you go through the logics of astrology in terms of Viparita Raja Yoga, you won't get anything straight as, only good or only bad. It will be mixed. What do you think about 12th Lord in the 12th? Ram? If the 12th Lord is in the 12th. It's very tricky. Actually, it is a Vimala Yoga. Right? But I've seen people suffering a lot with the 12th Lord in the 12th. Again, I would like to tell you, if the 12th Lord is in the 12th and unafflicted, maybe it is elevated in so many other ways, maybe you can get some good results out of it, of whatever is stated for Vimala Yoga. But think all the bad lords in bad houses is good, it's actually wrong. Whereas 12th Lord in the 8th, the Maharishi himself says it's good for gaining. And I know of a godman who has that combination. Okay? That's really good if you have the 12th Lord in the 8th. But even in that, some side effects are there that lifespan can get shortened. So every Viparita Raja Yoga, that's why the word Viparita is being used. It's not straight. There's a twist to it. It's almost like in the story, in movies, you will see somebody beaten up royally and then he becomes the local gunda. Right? Because something negative happened, it turned into positive. Have I answered the question?
Yeah.
8th Lord in the 8th, only for lifespan, longevity, long life. But then if you start looking into the details of that such an 8th Lord, the Maharishi keeps adjusting lifespan. Okay, these are the... So now what happens when you read a chart where you already know the result and you see it is Viparita Raja Yoga and then simply put it all only to Viparita Raja Yoga, you might be missing the entire story because there are so many other things in his horoscope that allowed good results to come. Okay, so please take it very carefully. All these Viparita Raja Yogas. But see, even that I cannot answer straight away because I really don't know what kind of planet that is. Okay, if the planet is, like I told you, an example of the best thing possible. The best planet of all, Jupiter in Lagna, in Uchasthana, gets reversed completely by an affliction. Then how can you make a statement on even Viparita Raja Yoga? The same will hold good for Nichabanga. Sometimes you will see Nichabanga is not working because in Shadbala, the Nicha Graha was still remaining weak. You please do Nichabanga and then see whether in Shadbala the planet is strong. If it is strong in Shadbala, and you'll be surprised that, I'll tell you, just as a confession, before becoming an astrologer, I went to at least 5 professional astrologers in Chennai, asking, can I become an astrologer? Believe it or not, I got the same answer from everyone. Your Jupiter is debilitated and you want to be an astrologer, you will never make it. The astrologers did not notice the Jupiter in my Navamsha is exalted. And it is very strong in Shadbala. And it is in my Sashthyamsa Lagna. So I can pile up a lot of things about Jupiter. And not only here, even in NIIT, while I was studying, I became a teacher. In school, I was a teacher. In college, I was a teacher. Wherever I was with people, I was the teacher. I was a Tamil Nadu state weightlifter. During that time, I had 25 students. I was I was training them on weightlifting. I was also college chess champion. I was always surrounded by books. That's a acid test for Jupiter. If you're surrounded by books, your Jupiter is strong. Okay. So, actually, the opposite can happen. A planet is Ucha in Shadbala, the weakest planet. Have you come across these things? And you will think the person is going to get the Ucha result, and it will not happen. And Vimshopaka is a very, very strongly connected to Dasha reading. Vimshopaka Bala. You can't read, you can confirm it only if you see the Vimshopaka Bala, whether it is good or not. So, this is so complex that if you go by single parameters, here and there, you read something. Whenever I meet people in public places, they'll say, "Sir, I'm a Rishabh Rasi person." Now they're telling Shani is in the best place possible, and very soon Jupiter will be in the second. Once in 60 years, that can happen. It seems I'm going to be the next CM of Tamil Nadu. Everybody is asking the same question. I tell them, I don't know how your horoscope looks like. But does it mean that this simple methods don't work? It works. Because Sade Sati works. 7.5 year Saturn always works. But why can't Saturn in the 11th work? Jupiter the 2nd will work. But then you don't know the chart. You don't know where, in which, what is the overall story of the person. That you don't know. Whether it is possible to capitalize on this such a wonderful transit. Okay.
We have a question, like someone is asking if all these yogas and things can be applicable in divisions.
This is personal to me, okay? I generally avoid using it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong, okay? But I don't use it. But I give lot of weightage to a divisional chart, only one thing. Ucha, Nicha, Swakshetra, that, the basic things like enemies house, mutual enemies house, that I give a lot of importance. And from Lagna, where the planet is. With that, I stop. I don't try to read, but actually, sometimes people surprise me by quoting the yogas in divisional charts. For example, one day, one of my students pointed out that in Sashthyamsa Lagna, I have Jupiter, Venus and Mercury all together. Okay. So, he called it, I think, Saraswati Yoga and things like that. But I said, already I have enough proof in the basic chart for yogas. I'm a little confused because if I start using yogas and I get the opposite things in divisional charts, how will I conclude? I'll see, I can't go on increasing the parameters. It will only be making things difficult. I mean, this is my personal opinion. I don't know if some of you are doing yogas in divisional charts, even aspects. I only take the mutual aspect, the straight in 1/7 axis, mutual aspect. I use them well because that's okay. You can use it in Drekana. Parashara did mention about it in Sannyas Yoga. Right. So I just use the 1/7 axis, mutual aspect. Both Shadbalas and Ashtavarga works well if transits are good or not. See, now the problem with transits and Ashtavarga is if you want to really do justice in astrology, and transits cannot be studied without Ashtavarga. We all know that. And in the Ashtavarga chapter, the big chapters, finally it lands into the Graha Pinda and finally the Shodhya Pinda, and then you divide it by 27, the nakshatras, and that is the exact method of using it's actually scary if you start using transits like that. Because it's so scary that I actually stopped using it, at least for my own relatives. Okay? Because I did those calculations and I found when Saturn went over the exact number of the star number, my father passed away. And the next thing I knew, when Saturn comes to this point, my mother will pass away, and she also passed away. So it's so scary. It's very good as as an exercise to prove astrology. But when you start using all these things, it's not that good. Now, what the software should do is, after giving the outputs, they should take it to the next workable level. They should not stop just at giving the outputs. So they should go to the next level of trying to, start predicting. That will be something that human beings can't do. Like how chess players, even the best of chess players can't defeat a chess software now. Even Magnus Carlsen cannot. He himself has admitted it. On the phone, he has never won even once. He said that on an interview, because computers are very good at these things. So if you can use those, the Shodhya Pinda, and then divide it by 27, divide by 12, and then superimpose with the transit of Jupiter and Saturn, you should be able to get a lot of wonderful predictions. But then I don't know if that's going to affect the society, in a very different way.
I think we are 2 minutes away from the scheduled time.
Okay. See, sometimes I'm also worried about, astrologers influencing people. Of course, you can argue from both sides that it's already there in his fate, that's why it happened. So this is a story of a man who was a Tula Rashi person. He met me when Saturn was entering Tula. But before me, he met an astrologer when Saturn was in Simha and about to go to Kanya, from when Sadhe Sati, 7.5 year Saturn begins. So when he met this astrologer, he told, in Tamil, he said, hereafter there is no future for you, because your 7.5 year Saturn is starting. When he met Edu Velangadu, Tamil, you're gone. But because of the Saturn transit, which is astrology, he lost his job. He lost the job. Then our guy thought whatever he told is correct, because he said that and he lost his job. The side effect of this was he stopped applying for jobs. So he started sitting back in home, watching TV, and then in the evening going out with friends to drink. Then he started borrowing from friends. To pay off the friends, he started borrowing from local financiers, those who are use the rough farm tactics. And so when he came to me, when Saturn is about to enter Tula, his actual question was whether I should run away from Chennai, because I'm being chased by these people. But before he said all this background, he only told me I lost my job. I said that's because of Sadhe Sati. I also joined the previous astrologer. Then he told me the entire story. Even that astrologer also told me the same thing. Then I said, in Sadhe Sati, you are supposed to work harder. 8 hours job, try to find another 4 hours job. Because in Sadhe Sati, it will be troublesome. Most people who are in the regular job in Sadhe Sati, they will get shifted to night shift. They can't sleep on time after that. Okay. And what did you do? You sat on the sofa and started watching TV. How does that fit into Sadhe Sati? You're supposed to struggle and you're enjoying life. So already the prediction is proven wrong, because you're enjoying life. So I think it's a responsibility of the astrologer to guide people, by telling them, please be very careful. This is a tough time. Maybe you lose your job, but settle down even for, jobs that you think is below your standard. People always look for ideal jobs. In bad times, how can good things happen? I tell my friends who drink during bad times, I tell them, don't drink. Okay? Don't drink in bad times. Then they ask me when to drink. In good times, you can drink. Sir, in bad times only we have to drink, sir. How will you sleep? Because you are negating the suffering by drinking. So you'll be in for trouble, more trouble. You'll have health problem on top of everything. Okay. So this is a long thing, Mr. Kapil. I know you're asking about. I'm studying astrology in this journey, dealing with many conflicts between systems and paradoxes and all that. I think it's better to stick to one line of thinking. It's called you take a stance and not keep shifting it. If you're following B.V. Raman's Ainamsa, follow it and follow all his teachings. You'll still see something. Don't keep changing. There's no single way of doing it. Okay. Of late I've been playing snooker because I'm getting older. So I thought I can relax with this game. There are several ways to play this game. But you have to choose what works best for you. So the other fellows, they'll say, don't stand like that, you stand like this. But you see, champions have broken those rules. They're not standing in the same way everybody stays. But you can't keep shifting, you can't keep shifting. One day you stand like this and one day you go down like this and one day you use this cue and then next day you use another cue, change the tip. Every time you keep changing parameters, you can play this game for 1 million years, you will never pot any ball properly. The same thing can happen in astrology. So what I'm saying is just stick to something. Don't keep changing because in that system you will have the result. This is my humble suggestion, not necessarily that my suggestion is the best suggestion. Okay, you can think about it. Yeah, it's a very ideal subject for research, PhD. Very good. Okay. You get a great kick out of proving astrology, right? It's always, we all get a kick out of proving astrology, like in any activity. It works. You're very happy that it works.
Yeah.
So whatever I told about Viparita Raj Yoga or Nichabanga Raj Yoga, if you have your own thoughts about it, please stick to that. You must be able to see something out of that. Okay.
Sir, have you heard of Michel Gokula, sir? French statistician, and he was a researcher in astrology, sir. He was a psychologist who proved that he collected natal birth charts of so many eminent professional people, and he studied their relationship between their profession and the planets, sir. For example, for sports people, athletics, who are into athletics, Mars is always in rising. Mars is in a good position, and for doctors Saturn, and for actors Jupiter, for journalists Mercury, and he also proved it, sir. Actually, it is statistically significant, not simply correlation. Just asking, sir.
Yeah, it is possible if you keep working on all this. My earliest work was like this. I collected the horoscopes of same type profession, some 50, 100 horoscopes, and I fed the details into my software. That's how I tried to perfect my own software. Most of the time, my software will tell me what is a key planet for that person's profession. I got it mostly right. Sometimes there are some errors, I should admit. Okay.
And some rationalists, they actually attacked him, sir. Attacked him in the sense they try to debunk his studies, studying it is not statistically significant. Some groups, they went to such an extent, they simply fabricated the data and they published the wrong results, sir. And when they were caught, they admitted that they wanted to disprove astrology. He was so much mentally harassed that he committed suicide, sir, actually.
Oh my God.
In 92, actually. Michel Gokula, French.
Oh, okay, I'll definitely have a look.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I'm ignorant about.
no, it's okay, sir. No, I just wanted to share with you, sir.
Okay.
I'm an astrological researcher, actually. I'm very much into scientific aspects, sir. The mechanism part, how astrology can be useful. Like I am more into psychological aspect of astrology, more than the predictive part.
That's a good line of activity because
Yes, sir.
I don't know how psychologists are dealing with people without knowing karma. I'm surprised
Yes, sir.
because they are dealing only at the branch level. They really don't know that the root is somewhere else,
Yes, sir.
right? So we studied the horoscopes of serial killers. We have in our files about 20 of them. They all have the same pattern. How is it?
Yes, sir.
And the problem with them is that if you tell them what is wrong, they won't understand what is wrong. Tell them whatever they're doing is wrong. They'll say, what is wrong? So most of them say it's just normal. You people kill so many people in war, uh, you know, like lakhs of people you kill in war. I just killed only 52 girls. That's all. What's wrong? You kill pigs, you kill cows. I killed
Oh my.
52 girls. That's all. To him, it is very natural. You're not able to.
Oh my.
But then sometimes you see, if you go to the finer things like divisional charts, and sometimes you'll be surprised that KPA ideas of sublot theory also suddenly throw a lot of light. So when you study different systems, don't use it for contradicting. You take the common points, complementing. That's the best way. So nowadays, with the software, you have access to these things. But Placidus system of Baba chart alone, I don't like personally because I can't see the logic in it. But unequal system, everything is okay. But I keep an eye on the unequal system also. But Ecolos is somewhat easier to use, so therefore I've been using it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think we have come to the end and close to the next session as well.
The last line, Dr. Brian
Yeah.
Weiss, many masters, many lives. I think he did past life regression, right? I sometimes tell jokingly that you don't need past life regression at all if you have a horoscope. By just looking at the horoscope, you can guess what they might have done.
Yeah.
Okay. Just as a passing remark, can I tell one more incident and then end? Is that time?
Yeah, that's fine.
In a blind chart reading, after playing snooker, I came very late to the class. My students were conducting the class. And just before having my dinner, I had a good look at the chart and commented that this person must have been busy killing children in the past life. I even asked whether it's a male chart or a female chart. They just told me it's a female chart. And making this statement, I went for dinner. I was only speaking of past life. Every time you see a horoscope, it's only past life. Try to think, because you're creating a horoscope on the date the child is born. The child has done nothing on that date, at that moment, for you to even issue a certificate. A certificate is issued only for past things. Okay? And then I went off. Okay. And then after a long time, I came back, but they were busy doing the chart. And then the main person asked me, how did you know this? I said, so simple. If you look into my mark sheet, in my 9th standard mark sheet, I got a single digit score in Hindi language. What do you think I was doing in 9th standard in Hindi class? I'll tell you what I did because I remember it. I was sitting in the back bench reading English novels. That's all. So simple. You look at anybody's chart and find some affliction, that's where they committed the sin in the past life. That's how I told. But I didn't know what's coming, right? I was surprised and shocked. And then the head student told me in the class, it was time to reveal the identity of the person. This person is Ufi Goldberg. Okay. I hope I have not offended anybody in this
No.
class.
No,
Okay.
no.
Then they told me at the age of 13 or something, she conceived a child and using a coat hanger, she killed the child. And her main purpose in life is The only message to the world is get rid of children. I didn't know that at all because I appreciated her a lot in the movie The Ghost. Now, do you really need past life regression? But I don't know what Dr. Brian Weiss did with the actual patient and how did he reverse all this. Okay. In counseling, you can reverse. With this, I end my discussion. Thank you, Aswin, Subramanyan, and Muthu Vijayan for having given me this wonderful chance. My son is going to California tonight, and I'm yet to join him. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an enlightening session, opening up a lot of points for us, and we all have to wear the thinking cap going forward. And thanks. It was a great privilege, and I think most of us don't want this session to end, but unfortunately, it has to end at some point.
Yeah.
So I'll
That
leave.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, the attention span is also only that much. And yeah, we can't go on.
I will leave this to Muthu for final thoughts.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and making this presentation very interesting, and actually sharing a lot of practical examples where you shared your clients' examples. So it was very enlightening.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again.
Thanks, and we look forward to having you once again at some point.
Yeah. Do you have more sessions tomorrow?
No, it's concluding today. Yeah, only today. Yes.
Oh. Who's speaking next?
Next is a Q&A session.
Oh, Q&A. I'll be there. I'll be going in and out because I'm just, just kind of getting in the mood of sending off my son to the airport.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll be here. Okay. And I must once again say that these kind of meetings should be held often, and I'll definitely go through the talks by other great people in this team. Surely I'll go through them, and I'll also recommend my students to watch these videos. If it is, if you permit them to watch, or I don't know if it is they have to become a member to watch it. Whatever it is, I'll let my students know about it.
Thank you so much. Once again, it's been a privilege, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Oh yes, bye.